In this video I'm going to show you how me and my friends went to the floating villages in Cambodia during the dry season. Before that trip, all of us were very excited to see the floating villages and floating markets that we all saw in many different beautiful pictures. What we actually saw was completely different. Dry and very dirty river going through the very dirty village. That's what we actually saw. Every time before we could start moving, the tour guide had to remove the trash from the screw of our boat. In the beginning, we were actually very scared that the water that comes from all the passing by boats will actually hit us. Since it was the middle of the dry season, the river was very tiny. It was very hard to ride the boat in the middle of it. The driver of our boat had to be always conscious about where was he going and where the boats around him were going. You can see rubber tires on the tips of every boat and also on their sides because the collisions are a regular thing. Some of the turns were way too sharp for the boat to make it itself. A lot of times our boat was actually about to crash into some other boats. The drivers would usually solve those problems very easily and very fast, so at some point we just stopped being nervous about it. As you can see from this man in the helmet, safety was their #1 priority. After approximately 20 minutes of floating in a very intense traffic, we actually made it into the wider water. Even though this river was pretty dirty, there were many people swimming in it and also actually fishing in it. After the river, we actually made it into the sea where you could see many different shrimp farms. After that, we headed to the restaurant, a floating restaurant where we spent the rest of the tour. The food in the restaurant was good and the prices were reasonable. In general, that was a nice trip that probably would be a little bit more exciting if that was a rain season.